bridging the gap between Web 2, Web 2.5 and Web 3.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I know it's a hard session after lunch, so we'll try and keep it interesting. So just to try and set the tone, we're talking about Web 2, Web 2.5, and Web 3 today, and how do we bridge these. So Web 2, classic, web, mobile, the classic IT apps. Web 2.5, that's the limit between this and the full decentralized space where we get centralized exchanges, centralized chains, and all of the other onboarding tools and offboarding tools as well. And then we've got the Web 3 space where we've got the fully decentralized space with DeFi and all of the other nice things. So just to start with the basic question, what do you think are the main points to get users from Web 2 right across the bridge to Web 3?
I think that there's a lot that we still need to do in order to get the mainstream Web 2 user onto Web 3. And there are a lot of hurdles that we need to overcome, but I would say that the main two things that we need to work on and focus on is the complexity that Web3 brings and removing that complexity for the user, whether it would be through technological advancement or UX. And the other thing that we need to work on is the language that we use, the narrative and the discourse that we have been having in Web3, because we have been keeping this air of elitism and like you need to be super smart to do crypto, and that's not the case, and because then we go and complain about the lack of adoption and the lack of users. So I think if we want to bring the users from Web 2 to Web 3, we need to be aware that users want things simple, so we need to keep things simple on a UX level and in our communication.
Right now, Web3 is not really hypey anymore, so that's good because people coming in, they're coming in for the right reasons. But in the past, what would happen is that they would come in and they would get burned and then they would never come back, right? So that's what we obviously don't want. So let's say the bad actors or rug pulls that would deter not only just institutional, investors, but also just the retail investors as well. So I think what I found, a lot of people who just had a bad experience, maybe it was just like a one NFT or maybe it was one token, and that was their entire experience. And so creating great products and then maybe even like educating people into what they really should be expecting, and whether it be the financial aspects of it, whether it be just the utility side of things, then we would have an easier time for every person who's coming in to want to tell their, let's say, parents and kids and their friends and other people that they know to get into this Web3 as well. It's not so much of it's more of a when it's gonna happen, so it's inevitable. It's just like emails back in the day wasn't a thing and then now it is, right? So it's not that we're not talking, I don't think that the tone of conversation is that we're not gonna have people coming into the Web3. It's more like when are they going to? And can we actually accelerate it so that we can create a better experience for these people coming in?
When talking about creating products for Web3, everything is still in a build-up. Currently, there's more the vision of what 3 could look like, and it's basically bringing back the power over the data that everyone is creating on the internet every day back to the ones who are actually creating it, and basically also profit from the things that you put out as a creator. Everyone is creating data on the internet every day, and there are currently centralized big players like Facebook, Google, who are using your data and they are profiting from it. But first of all, you don't know who is actually using your data, and at the end, you are not profiting from it. And the things that you create on the internet, you currently cannot own unless it's a URL or like a website, domain name. And with the vision of Web3 is that you can own things on the internet and the digital space, that you can give basically access tokens to the parties that shall be able to use your content, your data, and that you are able to profit from it. That you that when somebody consumes your data, that there's basically a macro payment stream from the consumer's wallet to your non-custodial peer-to-peer wallet. This is some of the visions that we have, but it's still in the making. We have some, there are some approaches, but there's no blockchain technology currently that could serve the whole world. But we are here, we are all here. Also, the source is blockchain. I would love to hear from you. What's your vision? What's your approach on this?
Yeah, thanks. Like the panel colleague earlier said, it's not a matter of if we want. It's the same as with your example with the email. It's just there. We are just using. In our opinion, no one asked no one when Web 1 evolved to Web 2 and is the same. Actually, it's not something we need to think if you will join. You will join because it's a normal evolution on, let's say, the digital world.
And my opinion is going to be from the side from my agency. So I have a marketing agency. Brands are coming and saying, okay, the hype now is to be in the metaverse. So how I'm going to do that? It's like, okay, what do you want to do in the metaverse? Which is your product? What is your USP? Where are your customers hanging out? And it's like, okay, I'm not clear about my product in the metaverse. I'm not clear about my customers if they are hanging out in the metaverse. So here is going to do a step back. So going to Web 2.5. So where the customers are. So to find solutions between the current solutions and the Web 3 solutions. I think this is the main point, to have more mainstream people coming. And then on the other side, of course, education. We need to educate brands to understand why Web 3 is important, why Web 3 is beneficial for them, and also customers to understand how is working Web 3 for them and how it's going to be beneficial to be on board. So this is going to be my point.
When you talk about Web 3, there needs to be a transfer of trust from already established companies that embark on this journey by having elements of Wallet Connect, for example, for the financial side, and other decentralized features that can help the user. But at the same time, there's a huge educational gap with what is Web 3 because of all of the craziness that's happened in the crypto world. And I mean, we all have this experience with Web 2 by logging in with your email and password. Then you have Web 1. That was Web 1, actually. Web 2 is login with Facebook. And then Web 3, login with your wallet. So I think having this experience can help us create a better framework so that the transition to Web 3 be seamless for the user and actually be a pleasure doing that.
I just want to speak to the privacy side of things. So obviously it's mentioned the Web 3 and the private, like, it's a lot more maybe secure for the users. I actually don't believe that's the case. Even when it comes to like marketing side of things. So in the Facebook, I guess, era, we were targeting people based on the information. I mean, it got to the point where you would just talk on your phone and then about, let's say, some hotel in Mexico, and then you would see ads about it, right? So, and then there's a lot of conversations right now about, okay, so Web3 is a lot more, let's say, centered around the privacy of the users. But to be honest, I don't remember in the Web 2 someone's looking at my wallet and just figuring out how much money I have.
I completely agree with you on this, because tech is catching up with Web3, and we have more and more tools that help us connect on-chain with off-chain data and help us get out of the dark ages of Web3 when it comes to marketing analytics and get to that point of profiling that Facebook or Google has about the user. So, we're getting there. But the good news is, in my personal opinion, is that the average user doesn't care about privacy. People have been giving their data away freely to get like a freebie or a Facebook account or whatever, and they're okay with that, and they will continue to be okay with that. So, we're good.
What's missing from the Web3 space and from the promise of the whole Web3 space, right, of ownership, privacy, and the whole decentralized vision?
Many people don't know about these new systems that are out there. For example, there are blockchain-based social media platforms, different ones. For example, Twitch, not Twitch, but Twitch, where the data is on the blockchain, and where people actually make money through putting out content. They maybe pay 5 cents to make a post on this platform, but if anyone likes, comments, or retweets their post, there's a micropayment stream from peer to peer, from their wallet to the creator's wallet. And at the moment, what's missing, first of all, not many people know about this platform, but also if influencers are going from a bigger platform, for example, it's YouTube, if they also use such a platform, then they're usually banned from YouTube, for example. So if bigger influencers are using these new platforms, they're basically banned from the existing platforms where they have the most users.
Yeah. I mean, we're really early in the game. If you take a look at the adoption curve, I mean, we're just getting started. And it's clear that for each phase of the adoption curve, you have different needs. So for the innovators, maybe you would like to have command line integration or other techie stuff. But when you get to the early adopters, then to the early majority, and you need better UX, better onboarding, you need better explanations, you need better videos, you need all of these marketing things that actually help users onboard and gain trust in the process while using it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, cause just remember in 2009, Facebook UX was trash, and then still is, to be honest. And people, they have billions of users. So I don't think that's the only reason. But I would say, let's say gaming or NFTs, things that are simple for people to just hang on to. For ordinary, let's say ordinary meaning non-Web3, it's just something that they can relate to, and then that could be their starting point in their journey into Web3. I would say that's more important than the UX.
And I actually think it's good that it still takes time that the mass adoption comes, so we can keep up building different products and make it everything properly until everyone gets into the space.
We have a lot more time to fail and learn from the experience.
Just like car crashes, right? 1924, right? It was okay, right? So when it just came out, it's not like we need to have everything figured out. So there's gonna be some crash and burns, and then we're gonna be okay.
Thank you very much for all your inputs, and let's go. Have a nice day.
Fantastic, thanks so much. If you exit that way, thank you.